Hey everybody, just showing a couple of pieces that I've completed and just showing what's up next on the channel for French-Indian War. So I will just mention that I finished these off. I'll just start with MODOK here. I've showed a couple of times the inspirational artwork that I was using to have this old classic comic, you know, from the early Captain America's done. I used the black ink. This time I used a different one. I actually went out and bought a different ink than what I used last time. Just for those that are interested for comic style painting. I used Speedball before, and it is an acrylic ink, but unfortunately there's nothing on it that really indicates that it dries waterproof or water resistant in any way, and so it bleeds into other layers that you put above it even after completely dry, I found pretty easily. So I ended up getting, there were a number of brands that I saw people recommending online that I couldn't quite source locally, and even right now during the current situation it's kind of hard to access things. But my local art store had Amsterdam, which they said they started carrying now in replacement for some of these other brands, and it does actually say that it's waterproof once dry, and when I've read stuff online, people indicated success with it. It's considered to be a good ink, and so I used this and I found it much better than last time in for MODOK and for using this, and I found working over it to be much better. And so yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with how I was able to achieve the two-dimensional comic look that I was looking for on the three-dimensional object. It's kind of hard to do it exactly, in particular where you're doing a freeze frame of light on something in one angle, and when you have a three-dimensional object that you're going to turn, it's not going to move with that turn, obviously, like it would from frame to frame in a comic when they draw it at different angles. And so you have, in my mind, I had to be careful a bit as to how much black shading I would do on, let's say, raised surfaces, because it would look wrong as you're moving it. It just kind of look weird. And so this is a balanced approach to try to achieve that look, yet not have it overdone where it's going to look really weird when you're moving a three-dimensional sculpt around. And so I actually am quite pleased. It's kind of what I was hoping to do with the Hulk. I just didn't quite achieve it with the Hulk. I was able to achieve it partially maybe because it was just my second time around with trying it, and then partially may have been the sculpt helping a bit. Also, I had finished excuse me, my two officers from Krantara. Both of these are painted up as French officers. This one, I believe, is listed more as a generic that you can use. This one, or I'm sorry, I said that wrong. This is the Krantara, and this is Minden Miniatures for the French officer, both on horseback. Now, I did try to do a bit more of a chestnut with the Krantara one and a bit more of a black with the Minden. I've never painted a black horse. I've had lots of opportunities to paint different color horses in the past, and I've never chosen to go, you know, all the way to black yet. And I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I really enjoy the look of it. And so next up, I am going to attack now a slightly bigger project. Not quite as big as my last group of Minden, but pretty approaching it, and it's 3 sort of packs of the French Marines, which I've showed. I'm also, and then there's an NCO, 2 NCOs in there, and then also I have two French officers that I'm going to paint at the same time that I can use as individual officers. Very nice sculpts. Now, every single one of these is from Krantara, and I'm looking forward to painting this up. It should be really great. I love painting French Marines. It's one of the really classic looks for French-Indian War. You don't typically, even though were French Marines in 7-Year War, and you can even buy them from Krantara, as I understand it. They have actually a Canadian dress versus the non-Canadian dress. I find that the imagery is oftentimes associated with the Marines, with their conflicts that they took part in North America, and so yeah, I love painting them up. And I think that's it. The only other thing I was going to say is I'm going to try to, if I have time, I'm going to try to work this one in maybe after the Marines. Rusty and I have an announcement coming up for a project that's going to come up in May, and I don't know if I'll get to this beforehand, but I am looking forward to trying to paint Spider-Man next for the Marvel game. And so at one point I'll be working this in, most likely after I kind of make progress with the French Marines. Okay, everybody, that's pretty much what I've got for today. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and take care.